Brilliance Audio presents It Ends With Her by Brianna Labuskes, performed by Lauren Ezzo. Special Agent Clarke Sinclair barely flinched as the icy drops of rain slipped into the space between the collar of her leather jacket and her neck. It didn't matter. The cold, the wet, the thick Missouri mud coating her boots, nothing mattered. Except that wasn't true. The girl had mattered. Charlotte, who was now being lowered into the ground, while the quiet little cemetery held its breath and the sky turned gray in mourning. The girl's parents stood at the edge of the grave, beneath an overlarge black umbrella, and the space between their bodies spoke volumes even at a distance. Would they ever recover? Probably not. When she felt the press of a shoulder against her own, she didn't need to look over to know it was Sam. Her partner had been scouting the edges, on the outskirts of the tombstones, looking for the bastard, while she'd taken up a post on the far periphery of the group, hesitant to move any closer, lest she disturb the already fragile tableau. They were both dressed casually, not necessarily wanting to broadcast that the FBI was patrolling the scene. "I really need you to not talk to me at the moment," she said, her voice so quiet it was possible it got drowned out by the rain. But he shifted next to her so she knew he'd heard. There were 3 heartbeats worth of silence before Sam broke it. Always had to poke. Always had to prod. "He's not here," he said. She rounded on him. "Are you kidding me? What did I just say?" Sam stared back at her, the water catching on his eyelashes and running into the canyons that shaped the landscape of his face. His hair, a touch too long like always, was slicked back, the abundance of silver in it almost masked by the dampness of the strands. He'd turned toward her when she'd shifted, his feet slightly staggered, his stocky body held at the ready like a boxer waiting for the first bell. "You still have a job to do, kid. Or did you forget that part?" The gentleness in his tone made the scolding sting worse than it would have if he'd raised his voice. He'd always been like that, ever since he'd secured her a place at Quantico. Always the disappointed father figure to her unruly, rebellious teenager. There were days when it seemed like he actually saw her as a capable adult, responsible enough to take care of herself. And then there were times when she didn't know if he would ever see past the damaged girl he was always trying to save. Resentment licked hot at the edges of her frayed emotions, so intense it felt almost like hatred. "No, you don't get to pull that shit," she said. "Not you, not now." His thin lips pressed together so tightly that the pink of them disappeared into a straight line. "Do you think I don't care?" It was just a slight head tilt toward the grave, but she caught it. "I think this guy has gotten the best of you 3 times now, and your massive ego can't stand it," she said. Not because she believed it, but because she wanted to see him blink. "Do you know how many dead girls I found when I was in Florida? Before you dragged me into this cesspit of a situation? 0, Sam, 0. He wanted to say something. It was there on his face. Maybe about how she'd been wasting her life chasing after pricks committing white-collar crimes that didn't hurt anyone but their millionaire investors. Maybe about how he'd seen that life she'd been living, with her broom closet office and stained takeout containers, and was not impressed. Maybe about how she'd once been an FBI prodigy who wouldn't have blinked twice at stumbling upon a dead body, but had now gone soft after trading it all for the safety of a desk job in a field office.